The wind from the Indian Ocean carried a thick scent of salt as Laila stepped off the wooden boat at the Chake dock. Oil lamps flickered in the beachside cafe, casting long shadows on the coral stone walls. She had come to investigate the legend she had only read about, Popobawa, a winged demon that spread terror on the darkest nights. At the simple homestay owned by Aunt Salma, the murmurs of neighbors seeped through the vents, the clanging of a tin roof, a faint smell of sulfur. Someone screamed, then fell silent. "Don't say his name too loudly," Aunt Salma whispered as she closed the window. "He likes to be called by bravery." As midnight approached, the electricity went out. Pemba sank into darkness, with only a thin crescent moon scratching the sky. Laila turned on her voice recorder, noting the time in her notebook. Her heart pounded as she heard a sound from afar, like wings dragging across the sand. Something landed on the roof, softly, then heavily. The air in the room turned cold, smelling sour like wet charcoal. The door trembled without wind. From the vent, a pair of yellow-green eyes stared, unblinking, as if made of rotten light. Laila held her breath. In the recording, a low voice was heard, click-clacking, resembling a cracked language. Laila tried to respond with the flat tone of a researcher, but her voice squeaked like a wire. "You are writing about me," the voice echoed not in the room, but in her head, "but you do not yet know the taste of my name." The roof creaked. A winged shadow expanded like a black tent. Laila whispered a short prayer her grandmother had taught her. Her lips were dry, and the skin on her neck prickled. Suddenly, silence fell, not calm, but empty, like sound being sucked from the air. The creature did not enter but left a mark on the window, 5 parallel scratches, deep, like glowing claws. The men stood guard with torches, the women sprinkled salt at the doorsteps. The children were forced to sleep on their stomachs so that the night wouldn't weigh on their chests. Mzee Juma, whose hair was as white as salt, claimed to have been visited by Popobawa 3 nights in a row for refusing to acknowledge its arrival in public, a strange tradition believed to stop the terror. "If you deny it, it comes back, and back again," he said. His palm trembled as he pointed to the soot on the wall, not random stains, but lines resembling writing that led to the tidal river. Laila photographed the soot, zooming in on her phone screen. It wasn't letters, but a map. The lines led to an old mangrove, where the ancestors had made a promise to something unseen during the Great Storm of 1977. "We prayed that our homes wouldn't be swept away," Mzee Juma said, his voice cracking. "We promised to name the firstborn after the guardian who came from the wings of night." Laila realized this was not just terror, it was a dispute over names, identity, and memory. She followed the soot map to the mangrove. The tide crept in, the roots of the mangrove swayed like fingers. Amidst the greenery, she found a small stone altar with a cracked bowl filled with blackened salt. Her recorder picked up low frequencies that buzzed like bees. The wind stopped. From the salt mist, a silhouette emerged, tall, thin, its wings were not membranes, but curtains of shadow dripping. Its face had no mouth, only a dark hole where names spun like quicksand. "Your people made a promise," the voice grated at her heart, then closed their ears. Laila held back a tremor. "What do you want?" The creature approached, a sour smell stung, triggering metallic memories on her tongue. "Speak my name before them. Let the night stop consuming breath." It offered a condition. Laila must be a witness and a speaker, or she would become a door that could not be closed. Laila hesitated. She needed proof. Popobawa pried some darkness and placed it in her palm. It became a small, glimmering green stone, as cold as well water. "This is the remnant of my wing," it whispered. "Take it to them." When Laila returned, the village was silent. Not because they were asleep, because their tongues were numb. The children cried soundlessly, the mothers raised their hands, searching for words. On the market wall, soot was written, "Return my name." Laila lifted the green stone, reflecting it in the flashlight. The shadow of wings crossed the ground, even though the sky was empty. Aunt Salma wrote on the blackboard, "How to return it without binding us." Laila remembered the anthropologist's stories about public acknowledgement breaking the cycle of panic. That night, in the cramped living room, Laila stared at the map she had drawn from the soot, marking the houses with claw marks. The pattern circled, like waves converging on the village square. The villagers gathered in the small square, surrounded by flickering torches. Aunt Salma clutched her prayer beads while Old Man Juma stood rigid. Laila held up the green stone of Popobawa. "I did not summon it," she declared. "I am merely returning a promise made long ago." A low hiss filled the air. The tin roof shook, like gongs being struck. A small bat fell from the eaves, dead, its eyes open, staring, as if sighting something unseen above. Laila swallowed her fear. She felt the weight of dozens of eyes and something else, something older than the island itself. She drew a deep breath and spoke, not loudly, but with a depth and courage that lent her words gravity. "Popobawa," she called, "we acknowledge your presence. We remember your name. We return the promise, one name, one generation, for the guardian of the night." The word "acknowledge" sliced through the air. The villagers suddenly felt their tongues loosen, salt, smoke, and fear all returning in a rush. At the edge of the square, a young mother lifted her baby. "He has not yet been named," she whispered. "Give him a name that ties to memory, not fear." A shadow descended. Its wings did not touch the ground, only the air thinned around it. "A name is not a chain," Popobawa spoke, its voice like dried leaves. "A name is a door." Laila offered a compromise. The child would bear a name that honored the guardian without directly naming the creature, a Swahili name meaning guardian of the night and savior of the lost. The villagers nodded, not out of awe, but exhausted from being hunted in their dreams. Aunt Salma whispered prayers. Old Man Juma bowed his head. On the market wall, soot peeled away like old scales, drifting soundlessly to the earth. The wind danced around them. Torches tilted, then stood upright again. Laila's recorder captured a warm silence for the first time since her arrival. Popobawa regarded Laila, its green eyes dimming to mere pinpricks, like aging fireflies. "You chose acknowledgement over servitude," it whispered. "That is enough." It touched the tip of its wing to Laila's forehead. A flash surged through her, the storm of 1977, a boat nearly breaking apart, prayers bound to the night, a promise forgotten, a terror grown from neglect. Laila wept, not from horror, but with understanding. As the last echoes faded, a soft clap arose from the crowd, then another, and soon all were clapping, uncelebrating, but releasing. The child was named anew at dawn. The scent of salt resumed as merely the sea's breath. In the mangroves, Laila returned the green stone to its cracked dish. The tide washed over it, the stone's surface breathed once, then stilled. Laila penned her final report. Popobawa did not leave, it ceased its screams because it was finally heard.